What's up gamers, DreamcastGuy here, talking today about Sony and whether or not the PlayStation 4 could be in trouble. So late last night, Sony had their giant yearly investor meeting where they basically sit everybody down and explain just how much money they've actually made, and there were two really big shakeups. Number one, they've announced that they've now sold over 76 million PlayStation 4s, and secondly, they said that officially, very soon, the Sony CEO, Kaz Hirai, is going to be stepping down. He will no longer be running the company. Now, this is over the entire company and not just the PlayStation division, but Kaz had a very specific hand in the PlayStation 4's success. He took over in 2012, and by almost any standard, he really led this company into success, and there's a reason why. Hirai was originally a big name in the PlayStation division. He came up throughout games, established the PlayStation 3, helped the PlayStation 2, and obviously catapulted the success of the PlayStation 4. So, seeing him lose that power could be a very bad sign. Now, what has me worried specifically is the fact that just a couple months ago, we also lost Andrew House, who was previously the CEO of the PlayStation division. So clearly, there's something going on within Sony where they aren't happy with the PlayStation performance for whatever reason. While you and I are extremely satisfied because the PlayStation 4 just keeps coming out with bigger and better games every single month, for some reason, it seems like the investors are upset, and I don't quite understand. But honestly, at this point, I am a little bit troubled, because the guy they've now put in place as the new CEO in the meantime is somebody who's pretty famous for, well, to be frank, cutting throats. This guy is made to come in and chop out any division that isn't doing great. And this is what Sony needs right now. Their cell phone department sucks, their movies aren't making a ton of cash, and their laptops literally lost them hundreds of millions of dollars. So right now, in the last 12 months, Sony has made $7 billion profit, which is a big chunk. But when you realize that there's all these other things that are really weighing them down, they need somebody to come in there and try and trim the fat. But that still worries me a tiny bit, because if you hire a hitman isn't exactly great at planting flowers or trying to make people feel better. A hitman has one job, and that's to kill what they think isn't useful. And my worry is, if you're having a guy like that in charge of everything, including the PlayStation division, I'm afraid that he's going to start firing the people who are doing good work, but maybe slower than they like. For example, we know for a fact that Sony isn't exactly thrilled with how long it took God of War to get completed. This is done now and it has a release date coming up on April 20th, but the people internally wanted that to be done a lot faster. Now, you can't exactly rush art, so I'm glad that they gave these people enough time to actually complete God of War because it looks fantastic, but my worry is that we're going to start to see more canceled projects on Sony's end. Something that we all kind of make fun of Xbox for. If stuff's not immediately looking great and looking like it's going to come out really soon on the Xbox One, Microsoft has a really dumb habit of just walking in and being like, you're fired, you're fired, you're fired. If Sony starts doing that, it could be a bad sign. And the reason why is because Sony doesn't have a ton of studios right now. A lot of studios work for Sony, a lot of people make games exclusively for the PlayStation 4, but those aren't actually Sony studios. The pool of people who specifically work for PlayStation isn't exactly giant, and my thought is, if they start trying to crush companies, start trying to crush studios like Sony Bend or Sony Santa Monica, this could be really bad, because I feel like these studios need to exist to try and do the weirder stuff. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of PSVR, but let's face it, the tinier teams that are making exclusively PSVR stuff are making some pretty cool, boundary-pushing, experimental stuff. And that's what my worry is that Sony is getting really, really focused on the money again. And whenever this happens, they make a big mistake. They try and make a console that's too big, too grand, or has too big of a price tag. My thought basically boils down to this. Kaz Hirai was a genius. He was a businessman who had the heart of a gamer, and something he did that led Sony into this giant age of profit is what he called the One Sony plan. He basically unified all the different divisions of Sony from hardware to software and made them all be judged by the same merits. As long as your art was good, they'd keep making it. But without Kaz Hirai around, I'm worried as to what comes next. Are we going to have more games? More consoles, more weird add-ons, or maybe something new entirely? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. This is a really messy situation, so who knows? But thank you so much for watching. This has been DreamcastGuy with a random gaming rant. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all and keep dreaming. Do you like this, my new background? I bought a new TV so that I can have a new background, and that's a painting I did, which is really bad, but what are you going to do? Oh, hi. I'm just working on the next video. If you want to see what it is, go ahead and click this button and you can subscribe. Also, if you click these video links, you can see my latest review and my latest top 10. Now I'm just going to sit here for a minute and wait for you to subscribe. Oh, I guess I could put on these giant glasses. I literally found these on a roller coaster.